Hello, everyone. I'm Susan.
I'm Tab.
And we are MCU Explained, and we're here to talk Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale, or should we say Captain America and the Winter Soldier finale? I love that at the
Me
end.
too.
So this is kind of the last TV episode that we're going to be doing for a while because we have like 6 weeks until Loki starts up. So if you guys have any suggestions as to things maybe you want us to explain, please put them in the comments on this video or shoot them over to our Instagram because like there's so much in the MCU that we could potentially do an episode on in these 6 weeks. And we thought about doing like a Black Widow coverage, like retrospective. We thought about doing a Loki retrospective, but really like, what do you guys want to see? So we'll start there. But first, the finale.
The finale.
Yeah,
It was great. I can't even start this without being like, Sam's Captain America costume is incredible. I love it. I am delighted by it. Like,
everything about it is amazing, and I love that Anthony Mackie put out that picture of him when he was a child wearing a Captain America outfit, like, and put it.
Oh,
It was just like my heart.
and he did it. He did it the first time when Sam became Cap in the comics, and now he's Cap. Yeah, my heart can't take that. Now he's Cap.
Yeah. And this was supposed to be the show that I got a break from crying about, but apparently Disney Plus and Marvel decided that they were going to give me the middle finger, and I felt personally attacked because I spent a lot of this episode crying when really I was supposed to get a break from crying. So
which I knew that we talked about this. I knew this show was going to make me cry. But like I don't feel like Loki will, but now I'm like, but maybe it will.
Yeah, right. This was supposed to be like, I knew WandaVision was going to make me weepy tears every single time anything happened, but this was supposed to be my break from crying, and you were supposed to take over as the crier. And now I'm worried. I'm very concerned that Loki's also going to be just waterworks for me.
Yep, probably. We're probably going to get into like Frigga's probably in it, and we're going to get into like this whole thing where we see his relationship with his mom or something. Like I can't.
Because we know from, the very little we have with him and his mom that they were very close, and his mom stood up for him against Odin so many times that it's like, it's gonna pull at heartstrings. And also, again, we brought up in the last episode that there is the supposed Nat cameo, and obviously if that is her and he's talking to her.
So everything Marvel does is for crying now. And I think I mentioned this on another one. Like there was a part in Far From Home where I'm like having a great time, really enjoying myself, and then all of a sudden I like burst into tears, and I was like, it's Spider-Man. This is not supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's completely, that's what they do now. They just, now everything's, it just hits us so hard in the heart. Yep. I can't even imagine what I'm going to be like during Shang-Chi. I'm going to have to see it like twice in the same day. The first time just for crying.
Just for crying. Just want to get a cry showing, get it out of the way.
Yeah, get the crying out, the cry showing, and then just like buy 2 back-to-back tickets to like 2 showings, and then just sit through it a second time so I can actually watch it.
Yeah, now you're ready.
Yeah, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to watch it. I got through the crying. Cool.
Yeah, so I guess we both cried a lot in this episode.
A little bit. I like that also for some reason the background keeps eating my like left shoulder in particular. So it's almost like I have a metal arm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a metal arm.
And by the way, audience, appreciate our matching outfits.
Please, we did not plan this.
We didn't plan this, but look it happened.
Okay, so this episode, the finale, One World, One People. And Carly and the Flag Smashers have taken the GRC Council like hostage, essentially, in New York, and that's where we start. Sam's on his way, and Bucky's already on the ground, and no one is telling him he shouldn't be there. and the other people on the ground call him Sergeant Barnes and move out of his way, which was very gratifying for me personally.
I really like that too. I like that a lot.
Sharon's there. She pops up. Sam invited her, I guess. Oh, and
I'm
Susan
sorry.
hates Sharon in
There's a
case you.
lot of hating on Sharon in this episode.
When Carly sees that Sam sees him fly by, they use like gas type smoke bombs to get the GRC out of the room they're locked in, to try to like herd them out of the building, in what I thought was a very Gotham-esque Joker type move.
Yeah, it was very Gotham-esque Joker.
Like this whole thing, like, we'll get them on these transports, and they're all three different transports, but we've got men on the inside of all of them. Very like
That
Batman.
is very, especially Nolan Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but you're completely right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So as that's happening, Sam busts in through the window in his new suit with the shield. He looks dope as hell.
I
Heroic.
will say I kind of wish this scene didn't happen like at night, because I would have liked a better hero shot of Sam. Not that it wasn't rad to have him like crash in his new, and I loved, and I get it because like the new suit's white. So you
Yeah.
see it like against, you know, this like dark sky and the redness that's happening in the scene as well. They lit it all kind of red, but I wish I could have gotten like a more clear, but that's just me being nitpicky, I think, a little bit.
I think you will. I think you'll get some daytime
Yeah.
shots.
It's like everything of Sam in the cap suit was at night in this
Yeah,
episode.
that's fair.
And
But you're right, it is white. So like I see the logic of like we want the contrast.
we want it to pop, but there's like other ways to get it to pop besides like dark. But anyway, that was just my like one little, like, if I'm gonna like nitpick slash critique it just a little bit, I really did wish that it was like a better, more clear daytime Samus cap, you know?
I get it.
Mhm.
And someone says, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm Captain America." No pretense, nothing, just owning it. I'm Captain America. So proud of him.
That was my first.
Yeah. So proud of him. There's nothing, I don't know.
Yeah,
It just
there,
owning it.
he
It's
just says
wonderful.
it and like it's true.
And
Like
it's true.
that was the
Yeah.
best part about it, is that there was no hesitation, there was no like wavering in his voice. He's Captain America. He's taken the shield, he's taken the mantle, he's taken the weight of everything that is Captain America, and he knows what it means. And like we'll get to this, the incredible monologue that he has later, but that's the pretense to that monologue, is him just saying I'm Captain America in this confident way that is exactly what Steve would have wanted, you know?
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
exactly what we've been building to.
And of course that guy says, "I thought Captain America was on the moon," which I loved because apparently that guy, John Walker, not Captain America to him.
Yeah.
Didn't.
He just completely glossed over that John Walker ever existed.
Oh, since this episode cut back and forth a lot with the fights, I kind of broke it down into fights until they all come together at the end because it seems silly to do like shot by shot.
That's how we did it with WandaVision too. You know,
Yeah.
because we did like the Vision and Vision fight, the Wanda and Agatha fight. So yeah, I get it.
So in the GRC building, Batroc shows up and him and Sam fight. And I was so was here's what's hilarious is that I have been guesting on a podcast called Oh Snap, talking about this show recently, and I didn't think about this until I talked with them. But Batroc, because they were like, "Why is Sam having trouble with Batroc?" But Cap did too. He's
Yeah.
not Batroc's not a super soldier, but they went full hand to hand, just fighting.
Yeah.
In Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a mercenary. He's a good fighter.
No, I mean, I remembered that too, and I loved that like kind of full circle thing with him, where you know Cap had the same type of issues fighting him. And it did take a while for even Cap with the serum to defeat this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And I couldn't, it also kind of seemed like to me that maybe he was going for stall, not kill, despite what he told Carly. I'm just here to kill.
But uh, that makes more sense with what we find out later.
Yes.
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 Mhm.
Um, uh, there's that bit where he throws the chair and Sam throws a shield and somehow the chair stops the shield, which got people like,
Also, another moment where I was like, that can't happen.
yeah, that probably can't happen.
Like, what is that chair? Did the Wakandans make all the furniture in that room?
Yes.
I don't think they did that.
No. Yeah. Yeah. I think what they were going for was like, rather than it be force, the shield hit something that threw it off course, which makes
Yeah,
sense, but that's not how it like,
but that's
in
not
the end,
that
that's not
wasn't
how
really
it read.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but then they kind of make up for it for me because Sam stomps on it and it hits Bedrock in the face.
That was a great shield like moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Um, on the ground while Sharon's doing her part of the mission, she says the helicopter is about to take off, so Sam just bails on Batroc to go after the helicopter. He throws the shield out the window and flies through it and grabs the shield as he's just crushing it.
Yeah.
Just crushing it.
Yeah. All that training paid off, Sam. You
Yeah.
look amazing as Captain America.
You look amazing. You're doing great.
Yeah.
So now we have Bucky, who is supposed to be stopping the ground transport, but Carly calls him from someone else's phone, who also very respectful when addressing him, Mr. Barnes.
Mhm.
We are not to disrespect
Yeah. We aren't
James anymore.
freaking John Walker calling him Bucky when they're not even friends. Just saying.
Yeah.
I like hating John Walker. I kind of stopped this episode. We'll get there, but like I did
Yeah.
like hating him.
I think you'll get other chances to hate
I think
him.
I'll get
He's
other
not.
chances to hate him also, but really I was very preoccupied with hating Sharon this episode, so like John Walker didn't get like full force
It's the
hate.
Sharon hating episode.
It's the Sharon hating episode. I
Um,
said from the beginning before we did the show, she's not good enough for Bucky, and I'm so right.
you are, but it doesn't seem like she was going for him. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Even she knows she doesn't deserve him.
um, so Carly calls Bucky, and very clear on the outside watching it that she's just stalling him. But he doesn't pick up on it, so it works. Like, have you ever fought for something bigger than yourself? Like, she knows he has.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no, he gets very fussy and distracted about that. And so it gives time for one of the flag smashers to lock the GRC people into their trucks with like a spider looking lock thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then here's some time for you to hate on Sharon. She straight up murders that man with gas that makes his skin come off.
Yeah. That was like when she does that and then she lies about it. Like I was just like, all right, okay. We're on the like heel turn for her pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the trucks are getting away. And the note, I have another note that's like, so Bucky grabs the motorcycle, he goes after the truck, which again I feel like is evoking Batman. It's night, you're on a motorcycle, you're chasing down these trucks full of hostages. But Bruce Wayne would not have been distracted by that phone call. He would have taken the call and kept going and been looking around. He would know it was a distraction.
Definitely know that it was a distraction.
But he is the world's greatest detective.
That's
so
true.
I cut Bucky some slack.
Yeah. And Bucky's just a sweet boy.
He's just a sweet boy. Okay, so Cap versus the helicopter, where we see that he has a new Red Wing, which means to me that Bucky specifically told like the Wakandans he likes this bird thing. I hate it. It does all these things, but he needs it.
To be honest, this was cry part number 2 when he got the new Red Wing, because that's exactly where my mind went, where I was like, oh my God, Bucky hates this thing, but he knows his best friend loves it. So he got a new Red Wing made for him. Oh my God, that's the sweetest thing ever.
Yeah,
Best friends forever.
best friends forever, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll
But he has a new
talk,
Red Wing.
we'll talk about how Bucky breaks his promise and is clearly flirting with Sarah later.
Oh, but you know I'm okay with that.
Right, but Sam isn't. That's why they're maybe best
Maybe
friends.
best friends, maybe brothers-in-law.
Uh-oh.
Who knows?
Maybe
Maybe
so.
more than just best friends, maybe family.
Maybe. Um, okay. So that there's another helicopter in the mix and it gets busted up. So Sam goes in and saves the co-pilot and the pilot and does the extremely heroic protecting the pilot from the falling helicopter with his vibranium.
That was one of the coolest shots ever.
Yeah.
Like the
He
wrapping of the and having the helicopter bounce off the wings.
Yeah, I that was probably my favorite shot from the whole episode
Oh, for
was
sure.
that going into Sam standing up and everyone cheering and like he just looks heroic as all hell. And I was like, yeah, that's Captain
That's
America.
Captain America.
Um and side note here, if you didn't already know this about the movie Wonder Woman, the executives argued with Patty Jenkins about the trench scene because they said that people don't want to see superheroes save and fight normal people. And that and I feel like Marvel and Patty was like, "Well, that's not true and it's going in the movie and obviously that's everyone's favorite
Yeah, I was
scene."
gonna say that's literally the best scene in Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Uh, but I really appreciate Marvel does always have those like small moments of like we're gonna save a regular person. We're gonna get like we're gonna show the heroes being heroes because everyone matters.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, really loved that whole like side save. I'll
Yeah.
call it.
That was fantastic. I loved it too. Yeah, that just it just made me think about the first Avengers movie with Cap and the people in the diner.
Yeah.
It's the same situation, but like now this is Sam's save. And it's
Right.
of course a flying save because Sam flies.
Same flies. That's
Yeah.
his thing. Uh So he goes back after the other helicopter and he has Red Wing find him, see if someone can fly it, and someone in there can, which is awesome and a very cool strategy.
Hmm.
Um, and then the pilot smashes him into like some construction stuff. And he has my favorite line of his in the whole episode, which is, "Boy, you just earned this ass whooping."
I was like, what did he say? I'm not even sure I heard that line because I was so like, yeah,
Yeah, he's mad. "Boy, you just earned this ass whooping."
yeah.
And then he calls the woman in the helicopter and they very quietly coordinate her flying the helicopter when Sam just busts through it and rips the guy out and throws him in the river. A brief flag smasher scene with Carly where she says she will, worst case scenario, kill the hostages. And her followers do not seem on board with that. Um, and she says the one world and they don't respond for a bit. She has to say it again. So not everyone on board with the killing anyone who gets in their way, which is very much the supremacy thing that Zemo talked about.
Right.
What people become expendable for you to get what you want, and the more powerful you are, the more people become expendable.
Right.
So Zemo was right. Hashtag.
Hashtag Zemo was right. Hashtag Zemo still putting in those pearls of wisdom,
Mhm.
even when he's on the raft.
Yep.
And we'll get back to him later.
So now Bucky is fighting the Flag Smashers, but Carly has them light one of the trucks with all the people inside on fire to get Bucky distracted.
I did like that line where she was like, give him someone to save.
Yeah.
Because it was like she gets him, you know?
Yeah, she gets it. It's more important to him to save those people than stop her.
Yeah.
She is the opposite.
Yeah.
Um, so it's a little difficult for him with that lock, but he does punch the truck open eventually. And here's my favorite Bucky moment. Is that one of the men on the truck stops and they say, thank you for saving us. And Bucky like visibly reacts to that as almost as though like no one's ever like he's never had this moment before in his life.
But if you think about it, he probably hasn't.
Right, probably not.
Yeah. Like the times that he's fought, like not as the Winter Soldier murdering people, he's fought like with the Avengers doing alien stuff.
Right. And then World War II, but
who's going to thank you during
yeah.
World War II?
Yeah.
So I feel like this was the first time he actually got an acknowledgement of something heroic he did.
Yes. And did you notice that after that thank you and like him taking it in, he started fighting in a much more free way. Like it seemed like he was not holding back as much as he has been. Like it was closer to Winter Soldier style fighting without actually getting into like the mindless.
Right. Yeah. He started fighting like in my opinion, the way Steve would, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
And that also started a little before that, because even when he's like punching his way through the truck, like with the spider lock and everything, it really reminded me of Steve, because that's like what Steve did, you know, the like, I can do this all day. Like he's not going to stop until he saves the people that need saving. And then he's not going to hold back when he had like he saved the people, but they're still the bad guy. So
Yeah.
it was a really great taking it in and realizing that maybe he's closer to Steve than he thought, or it was a way for him to feel close to Steve because he misses him. It just really reminded me of Steve in like a lot of ways, that whole transition of Bucky in that particular scene.
I've actually seen a fair number of people saying like Sam's the new Captain America, but Bucky's the new Steve Rogers.
I completely agree with that. Yeah, because Sam has to be a different kind of Captain America.
Absolutely.
He cannot be Steve Rogers. And that was the point of this show. And that's the point of, you know, the racism that they introduced in it and the Isaiah Bradley storyline that they introduced in it. And we'll get more into that later. But Sam cannot be Steve Rogers. He has to be his own Captain America. And I think that Sam really does that. But that does leave the gap for still someone like Steve. And I think that is a very excellent assessment of like Sam might be the new Cap, Bucky's the new Steve. And I like that.
Yeah, me too. And we see another huge redemption for Bucky because he falls into that construction site, but he nails the superhero landing.
He does.
He can do it now. He figured it out. This is where John Walker shows up to fight Carly. Carly's dumb, and so she doesn't want to hurt people that don't matter.
Yeah, because that's what you should do. Tell someone who their best friend does, like tell someone who loves someone that person they love doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Great idea.
Tell him he doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
She does the same tactic to get John to stop that she did on Bucky, which is to give him someone to save. But John Walker is so messed up and suffering from such a deep level of PTSD that you actually see him think about it, where he's like, do I save these people or do I go after Carly and kill her? And he decides to save the people, which at the heart of John Walker is probably what he's really like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um
Yeah. I thought of it as like, because we've seen Bucky in therapy a lot, Bucky's done the work. So he doesn't has like, it's almost like, because when you go to therapy, they almost reteach you a lot of things in terms of like thinking and your process when faced with like situations of high stress. And to me, that was like the difference between Bucky's done the work and John Walker hasn't gotten there yet. So John Walker had to more process the situation that he was in and actively make the right decision, and very much could have not made the right decision because of everything that he's been through. Luckily, at the heart of him, he's still a good guy and a good soldier. Maybe not a good man, but like does the right thing at
yeah.
least, and chose to save the people instead of go after Carly. However, Bucky didn't even have to make that choice because he's already, in a sense, been like fixed or done the work in order to get to
Yeah.
the place where he can, his instinct is to do the thing.
Yeah. To save the people.
Save the people.
I'm hoping, since John is continuing on in the MCU, I'm hoping they go into his PTSD a little bit more, because it's very obvious to me that he has it, and I'm sure to you as well. But it's not just like, it's not new. It's been since he was in whatever wars, all the wars he was in, and all the things that he saw. They briefly touched on it, but like a lot of his reactions to things, I think, have been fueled by untreated PTSD.
Oh, absolutely. And even when you see him addressing those senators in that hearing in the last episode, the outburst is so PTSD. Like
Mhm.
the trying so hard to hold it together, being triggered by something, and then not being able to hold it together anymore. That's very much symptoms of PTSD. And that would be great if the MCU, and you and I have talked about this on several episodes, how well they do with mental health, how they dealt with grief and WandaVision, how they're dealing with Bucky in this show, and Thor. So many different characters have struggled with mental health that they just put in the forefront, and it would be excellent, and I think a great way to develop his character and maybe turn around all the hatred that happened for him
Maybe.
to make him a sympathetic person, like to show the struggle that he has. And yeah, I think it'd be great.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just
Uh,
defended John Walker.
I know. Big day for you.
I know. What just happened? I told you this is about hating Sharon, not John.
uh so John runs over and tries to stop the truck from falling into the construction site. Um the Flag Smashers jump on him to try and let it fall, I guess. Um and they all fall into the construction site. The truck is still up there. It starts to fall and it catches at the last second. And as I told you, as we
Both
discussed,
of us.
both of us went, "Why is Spider-Man here?"
Both of us thought that it was Spider-Man, that there was the Spider-Man cameo, because that's such classic Spidey. That's what he does. He just
Yeah.
through, saved the
Catches,
truck.
yeah, he catches the falling thing with the
Yeah,
web at the last possible second.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Nope.
nope,
Totally also thought that. Was like, oh, Spidey, and then was like, oh, actually,
right,
this this makes more sense for the show.
right, because it's Sam. It's
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 Sam.
Captain America.
Captain
Sam. It's
America
not
saving the
Spider-Man.
day in his own show.
Yeah,
That makes more sense.
way more sense. Um, and like my brain short-circuited so much where I was like, what's Spidey doing here? Well, they are in New York. And I was like,
Spidey,
wait,
I did the same thing. Spidey could make a cameo here. Like this would be where, like before Far From Home, after Far From Home. I don't
yeah,
know.
who knows? Yeah, but obviously, it's Sam.
It's Sam.
And he pushes the truck back up, and there's a crowd watching. Lots of crowds seeing him be extremely heroic in this adventure.
I mean, that has
Um,
to be the case.
yeah. And then the guy in the crowd says that's the Black Falcon, and the guy next to him says, "No, that's Captain America." It's like,
Again.
yeah, it's Captain America. And it looks like they're about to get into it because Sam throws the shield and starts knocking down flag smashers, but Batroc smoke bombs the site, so
More smoke
everyone,
bombs.
yeah, more smoke bombs, and everyone splits up and runs away into various underground areas. So this is when everyone comes back together, and John Walker is now working with Sam and Bucky. They're going
Just
to
like
get
you wanted. That's
just
what
like
he
you
always
wanted.
wanted.
And Buck even goes with Walker because they realize that everyone split up, and Walker takes off, and Bucky's like, I'll go with him. Like, I got it. So, and now we come to Sharon versus Carly, wherein we find out that Sharon is the power broker.
Not that I wasn't surprised.
No, it's not really a surprising, but also like, who does she keep calling? It really bothered me. Because the power brokers, again in the comics, it's a business.
And it's also like it's almost a program, like beyond being a business. So
It's a multi-level marketing system, and the top power broker gets the most money, and then the more people that
it was like it's Invigoron with
yeah,
the berry juice.
berry juice. But instead of berry juice, it's super soldier serum and art.
Mm-hmm.
So Carly apparently was working for her in Madripoor. No surprise there either.
Yeah, no one is
Um,
surprised.
Batroc strolls up, and Carly's like, "What? You hired him to spy on me?" Like,
Now I
yeah,
know who you are.
yeah. Uh, again, I 100% here was like, yeah, he was spying on Carly. I don't know if he ever really cared about Sam, honestly,
I
other than stalling him.
I also again say I don't think he cared about Sam other than stalling him. I think that the kill the Falcon thing was an in with Carly.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you cost me a lot of money. Like I'm pretty sure Sharon like gave you and way more than you would have gotten. So plus
Yeah.
you're a mercenary, so you just ditch one job, get another job. So
Yeah. Money. Make that money.
yeah.
He is in the multi-level marketing
Yeah.
system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh
He's just under Sharon.
yeah, he's just under Sharon, but there's people working under him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Sharon just shoots him because he found out she was the power broker and I guess was going to extort her for that.
And I was like, cool. So you survived fighting Cap,
That's
fighting
exactly what I
Cap,
thought.
and now you just get shot.
You fist fight two Captain Americas
Yeah,
and then you just get shot.
you stalled two Captain Americas. Because also it just occurred to me that in Winter Soldier, isn't he stalling Cap as well? Because Black Widow is trying to upload. Yeah. So
Yep.
he stalled, fought two Captain Americas because both Nick Fury and Sharon Carter knew that he could do that. He was strong enough to do that. And then he gets taken out by just being shot.
But important to note, taken out, not necessarily killed. Comic book rule, we never saw his body.
We just saw him flop over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So certainly plausible that he's fine and will show up again.
Fair comic
Yeah.
book rule.
Comic book rules.
No
Which,
one's
in
ever
case you
really
don't know the rule, you have to see the body or they're not really dead.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So then Carly shoots Sharon. And that's right when Sam runs up. He tries to talk to Carly. He refuses to fight her.
Mm-hmm.
And she punches and stuff, and he only reacts defensively, blocking to the point where she's like, fight me, fight back. And then she seems like she's gonna shoot him, but Sharon shoots her first.
I don't think she would have shot him.
I don't know if she would have shot him, but I also don't know, like, that vibranium suit's not like, does a bullet do anything?
Yeah, that was something that I talked about with someone after the show where I was like, He does it. Does the vibranium suit? Because
Because the shield does.
yeah, but
Yeah.
also like with Black Panther, his vibranium suit, it just like it's bulletproof. Shuri says that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
even if she did shoot him, I don't think she could have shot him, or
yes.
unless she
And
shot him in the head.
yeah, the only way to take it out is shoot him in the head, I think. And I don't know that she was going to either. It's an interesting line to bring her character to.
Mhm.
Um, but didn't get to see how it would have played out if
I'm
Sharon
still,
hadn't been there.
I'm bummed that they killed her. I was really hoping they wouldn't.
Mm, they said she's dead, but he put her on an ambulance thing, so I don't trust any comic
Again,
book.
comic book rules.
We didn't actually like see her. Yeah, we saw her getting medical attention, not anyway.
Right.
Um, so then we're with Walker and Bucky, where they have tricked the Flag Smashers using the app, and the military just surrounds them and starts arresting the remaining Flag Smashers. Walker has quoted Lincoln here, which was weird, and so I super appreciated when
Bucky said it was weird.
yeah, when he's like, well, it's a great quote, and he's like, not when you say it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
um,
super weird.
and then another of my favorite shots in the whole episode, Sam flying down looking like a goddamn angel,
Mhm.
holding Carly to take her to get medical help. Like, so beautiful. And the Wakandan suit is, the wingspan is much larger, so like he seriously looks like an
Oh
angel.
yeah, he looked fantastic. He looked like everybody's savior.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah, so heroic.
Mhm.
um so there's press here, there's cops, there's medical team, the GRC is there, just everyone is here now. And this is where Sam argues with the GRC, and it all gets shown on television because the press is there. He does his first Captain America speech, um, which is a thing that Captain Americas have to do.
Mhm.
Uh,
Rite of passage for Captain Americas.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
And he's sort of, honestly, he just like kind of sums up the point of the show. Don't call them terrorists.
Yeah.
This isn't how you fix things.
Mhm.
Um, I know it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we get lovely cuts to everyone who's watching, including there's a cut to John Walker where I think he seemed to realize, oh, he should be Captain America, not me.
This is Captain America.
Yeah.
I'm not Captain America. You can't
Yeah.
just be given a shield and get a title and be called something. You have to embody it. It's way more than just a uniform,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is Sam. Sam embodies it. He is the legacy. He is the person who should be holding that shield.
Yes. It cuts to Bucky, who looks wildly proud.
Yeah.
Uh,
The little boy's all grown up because I think about that Bucky's so much older, so he's like,
oh, my sweet little
the
boy, look
son,
at
the
you.
son's all grown up.
We cut to Isaiah and Eli, and they're watching on their TV. Isaiah also mixed emotions. He looks proud. He looks shocked. He looks very moved. Um, we see Taurus, uh, who no sign of what he's done with those wings yet,
Yeah.
but and Sam says to the GRC that Carly died for this. Um, and like you don't want to see whoever is going to come after her in
Right.
the second one. But also still suspicious. He handed her to a medical team. We'll see.
Mhm.
Um, this
Carly.
series had enough villains that I think I'm okay if she's really gone,
Yeah, that's fair.
but also open to her coming back. Either one is fine.
Yeah. Same.
So Sam gives his speech. And he walks over to Bucky, who says, "Nice job, Cap." Cry. That's
Cry.
the first calling of him Cap from
Bucky.
Bucky, from anyone, but it means the most coming from Bucky.
For sure.
And he pats him. It's also they've developed some affection, physical affection, which I am always promoting too much. But like I think there's a really like complex thing with like we need both. We need more representation of gay characters being together in TV and movies and stuff, but we also need more representation of straight men being affectionate and that not making them gay, so that straight men in real life will hug each other.
I completely agree with that, because like being just being affectionate physically with someone doesn't mean anything really except physical affection. Like,
yeah, you like them, that's your
you like
friend.
them and that's your friend. You can hug them.
Humans need physical affection.
Yes, we all learned that during 2020 when like we couldn't have any. So if you don't miss hugging your friends, I'm pretty sure there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. So either way, like, but I it's also one of the reasons I was very into Finn and Poe's relationship.
Oh yeah.
They hug, they pat each other on the back, they're very close. That's good. Do that.
Yeah. I love that. And then and it's normalized so much between women doing it,
Yeah.
but men doing it, it's just as normal. Like guy friends do hug.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are aware of that.
Yeah, and you could like it. I would love for guys to get to the point that like where like women, I like can put my head on a woman's shoulder or like hold her arm or hand, and it's not weird and it doesn't
Right.
mean anything romantic. We're just affectionate with each
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's like how I don't know. I'm gonna embarrass her, but like anytime I see Christina and I are very like huggy people, and so
Yeah.
anytime I see Christina, we're just like I'm like this on her for most of the time. So yeah, I would love it if for more representation like that.
No. Okay. Anyway, a government dude comes over and is like, "Cap, can you help us round up the rest of the last flag smasher, the one that fell in?" So already, this is accepted.
Mhm.
We're just gonna move forward with Sam being Captain America. Everything he's done has been like, well, yes, this is the guy.
Yes.
Um, so the flag smashers are supposed to go to the raft, but then this old man in a fancy car blows up their transportation, and we cut to
Butler.
we cut it was
Okay.
Zemo's butler.
It's not just any old man. It's
Well, we did like initially I was like, who is that? And then it cuts to Zemo in the raft and he's like listening to the news on the radio and he's like real happy and like he's gonna take a nap now. So he's
Zemo gets
still
last laugh.
he's still
Zemo
up to stuff. He's not out of
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's
from
not.
the raft.
Yeah, he's on.
Really impressive.
But I don't think the raft is as secure as everyone else seems to think it is, because
That's
like Cap broke some people off the raft.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
the part that I always find hilarious about that in particular is like the government became aware that Hawkeye and Ant-Man just were broken off the raft and just decided to give them house arrest. They didn't just put them back on the raft.
Well, I think the initial thing was that they were on the run with everyone else and then they wanted to see their families. So they probably like called the government to be like, please cut a deal with us. We're good boys.
And I get that that's like the timeline. However, I still just real question how the government was like, yeah, sure, no, house arrest with your family seems cool, even though we had you on the most secure prison that we have.
Maybe Tony talked to them.
Maybe.
Tony did realize he was wrong.
That's true. Maybe. That's true.
Yeah. So Zemo's still up to stuff. Also, a butler, blowing up a bunch of villains from his fancy car also reminded me of Batman.
You just really wanted this to be Batman.
I wasn't, it isn't even that I like, because I don't actively seek out things to remind me of Batman, just like something about this episode I kept being like, oh, looks like evil Alfred.
I kind of get that. Like I am gonna be honest, I didn't think of that at all while I was watching the show. I said that we were because we were watching it at the same time. But like we're not physically in the same place. But we were watching it and it didn't occur to me at all while watching the show that this was very Batman-esque. However, there are like the nighttime scenes, the like the game playing, the like obvious stalling, the like there are very Batman elements to it. And really, if we're being, that's the realism that was always in Marvel that Nolan borrowed for Batman.
Yes, totally
So
fair. Yeah. Yeah, the very realistic. Yeah, because it was very specifically reminding me of Nolan's
right.
Batman, not just
Because everything that you're saying is Nolan's Batman. It's not like very comic booky, like over the top Tim Burton Batman, or like the Snyderverse Batman, because there weren't like people singing while Aquaman takes off his shirt for 20 minutes.
Gotta get this shirtless. Gotta get this long
Yeah,
shirtless.
but we also have to really awkwardly sing at him while he walks in the ocean shirtless for 10 minutes.
So wrapping up with John Walker and his wife is the Contessa. Julia Louis-Dreyfus is back, and I'm so happy. John gets his new suit from her, and he says it's the same but black, but it's really not the same, as we discussed about his cap suit. This is a flattering suit.
Yes.
This suit looks good.
This suit was tailored. They didn't just throw him in some uniform, which, by the way, is reminiscent of what they do in the army. They throw you in your fatigues, and then you go and you're just like with everybody else. That's what they kind of did with him and Cap. They didn't give him a flattering Captain America suit. They just like gave him a suit.
Yeah.
Because he was the perfect soldier. So that was more callback to him being a soldier. The black and red new suit is very much tailored to him and doesn't make him look like a block of like weird Lego person.
Yeah, and the stripes are much more flattering. They're cut like into like a V to like they're still sideways, but the way that they're cut now and with the white mixed in, it's more evocative of like abs, a good body, a strong person. His helmet fits better.
It just was really funny, but it also just is the contrast. Like, you weren't supposed to be Cap. That wasn't supposed to fit you. This does.
Being Cap doesn't fit you. Yeah. Val calls him U.S. agent. He gets his official U.S. agent title, as we suspected. And he's confused. And she says, things are going to get weird. Which, I don't know what she means. I don't know which thing she's referencing, but things are going to get weird. And then we're not going to need a Captain America. We're going to need a U.S. agent. Also, anytime someone says it's going to get weird, I think of Frank Reynolds, Always Sunny. Don't know how much longer I got left, so I'm gonna get real weird with
real weird with my remaining years.
So I guess the MCU.
It's gonna have Rumham.
Rumham. I don't know what's gonna happen for the next 10 years. Let's get weird.
I mean, it's kind of where it's headed with Multiverse of Madness.
That's fair. Also in this scene, Val knew it was Zemo that blew up the super soldiers, so she has intel, is connected to Zemo in some way, whether it's she has eyes on him or it's their buddies. She leaves it very open-ended.
Real rich and heirs and heiresses, like nobility that
Baron, Contessa. Yeah, maybe. They're all rich friends who have plans.
They have old money.
But first,
Bucky's redemption arc.
Which I think this is it, right? Bucky gets to move on now, I think. He goes and he tells his friend that he kills his son. It is heart-wrenching. He shows him, without pointing it out, takes off his glove so that his arm is visible for the first time. And you sort of realize, like, oh, Bucky been hiding his arm, his hair is short. He's been going out of his way to make sure people don't recognize him. Because he didn't want to be the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
He sends his therapist his book that he finished. All the names are crossed out. It has a note. He thanks her for her help. She seems pleased with this wrap up for him. And then at some point, he walks by the restaurant that they used to go to with him and his friend, and checks on him. I think was just like looking in. The girl that he went on the date with is there, and she's wearing a shirt with a wolf on it, with a white wolf on it.
Yeah.
Wardrobe.
Yeah. Yeah. Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So we don't really know how much time passed here, but
No.
enough time for him to actually make amends.
Yeah.
And be okay. And be okay with people seeing him as he is. He's not covering up his arm anymore. And we see in that in what is like essentially the prologue party, his arm it like is just out. It's not epilogue. Got me.
Like prologue is before.
Yep, you're right. And then we go to Sam, who goes to see Isaiah. And Isaiah has accepted him as Captain America, and he tells him that he's special.
Yeah.
Which, yep, cry.
Yeah.
That's already a lot. And Isaiah sort of like, he loosens up, he's being encouraging, like, it's a very different side of him than we've seen up until now. And once Isaiah accepts Sam, Eli loosens up, and like his body language is much more relaxed. He's not like on the defense anymore, like protecting his granddad. He's also open to Sam now. And when Sam says, "Get cleaned up, I want to show you something," Eli's like, "Where are we going?"
Yeah.
Which I think is a good look, like, at what's to come with Eli.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we going? Like I was like, I know where you're going.
I know where you're going. And I see your superhero personality because you opened up, you loosened up, and that's more
what he's like. Yeah.
that's more what he's like.
Yeah. Like where are we going? Curiosity.
Yeah.
Eli.
So Sam takes them to the Captain America exhibit, and I assume that everyone cried here.
Yeah, I was like, again, this could be a Turing test. Like, if you didn't cry here, you're a robot.
Sam has had a section added to the Captain America exhibit that honors Isaiah. There's a statue of him and a large plaque detailing his heroics, which, if you saw a screenshot of it or paused it, includes that what was done without his permission and knowledge. Beautiful, all of that. And Sam says, "Now they'll never forget what you did for this country, never." Yeah. And Isaiah starts just like, he's that thing of like, I've been waiting my whole life for this. Maybe he didn't even know he was waiting his whole life for it because he was so ready to reject it.
Just didn't think he wanted it.
Yeah. And he hugs Sam, and then he starts crying because yes, and
he didn't know he wanted it, and he got it. And
everyone is crying because
everybody's crying.
Everyone's crying. What a God. And it's so, because like the message there, like, he belongs in the exhibit because Steve wouldn't exist without him. Horrible things were done to get Steve Rogers to be Captain America and a super soldier, and Isaiah deserves to be included in that story.
Yeah. Part of the story. And it's one of those things, it instantly made me think of everything happening in our country right now, like taking down um, statues and flags that don't belong anymore, and adding and changing the stories of the people who were forgotten. And
Yeah,
that's so important.
it's so important. So important.
I can't even
You don't
express how important it is.
yeah. You don't know what opportunities are available to you when they're hiding all the ones that have ever happened.
Yeah. Oh, man. Sorry. I'm like nothing. I'm just so emotional about that. That whole scene got me so emotional.
Yeah. No, I was talking to my husband about how frustrating it was to find out about prominent women throughout history that I never learned about in school, that were never talked about, and that because of that, like it really did feel like the options for me as a kid, like as what I could do, were limited.
Mhm.
Um, and I've now read so many like stories and cool stuff about women who were pilots and
Mhm.
like fought in wars as pilots and stuff like that. Like I can't remember the name of them, the something witches, the ones that would cut their engines so that they would
Mm.
come in silently and then turn them on at the last minute.
Oh, I
Um,
remember reading about them,
yeah.
like recently, not
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
recently. Um, to where I was like, as a kid, I think I might have wanted to be a pilot.
Mhm.
Like that might have like sparked this interest in me.
Yeah.
But not an option, never occurred to me.
Yeah. And then for me, something that I've been doing a lot recently is I'm mixed race. I have very different cultures on both sides of my family, and tapping into both of those has been very like difficult and hard. I've learned a lot about my family, including like how they wound up leaving Korea and coming to America.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff that happened even over there that we never learn about here. Like it's history of the East that we just were never exposed to, and that I had to actively look up. And it's it's crazy to me, in general, how much representation matters. Just watching my family respond to Shang-Chi, in general, and then when I told my mom that Silk existed, and Silk is Korean, like she is very, like her name is a Korean name, and they very much say that she's Korean in the comics. So it's, my mom had no idea that there was even a Korean superhero, and let alone that she was a woman. Um, and how cool it is to be able to talk about that. Um,
And like Silk's also is like really special even for a superhero. Like
yeah.
she's she's awesome
And
and
one thing I always liked about her is she decided whether she was going to be good or bad, because she didn't know what she was. Because it's a little bit like Bucky. She was programmed to be a certain way and told she was bad her whole life, and that there was something wrong with her. So, that story always hit me pretty hard, because like I'm lucky enough to have grown up in a liberal city where being mixed race wasn't something that was like a weird thing. This got heavy.
that's okay. I mean, we're talking about like
It matters.
it matters, but it's also this show covered all
The
like
show covered it. The show
covered.
tapped into one person who would never have wanted to be Cap because of what they did to him, and then someone who looks like him taking up the mantle, and what that means for their entire culture.
Or even the mission of the Flag Smashers, that there shouldn't be borders. We are all just one people.
Mhm.
Their mission, not bad. Execution, terrible.
Just in general, what Sam even addressed it in his monologue, like, I know that how people are going to look at me, and we just have to do better. That's that's it right there.
Yeah. Okay, so now the epilogue, which is they're back at the docks. with Sarah's whole community. They're having a party for something. Again, we don't really know how much time has passed here, but enough time that Bucky seems fully ingratiated, like, with this community, and they love him, which wonderful.
Wonderful.
I'm all for entire groups of people deciding they love Bucky Barnes and that he's one of them.
Me too. He's been alone for so long. Like,
yeah, he deserves all the family.
He deserves all the hugs.
Yeah.
All the hugs go to Bucky.
He even brought cake. He brought a store-bought cake, which is just precious. I don't know what else he would have brought to bring something, but like, even that he brought something at all, anything, so great, and shows that he like understands what this is, because it's like a potluck type. Yeah. It looks like, yeah. And then in this montage, we do see he's got his robot arm out, and kids are hanging off it. But while that's happening, he's looking over here and talking to Sarah, which is given like, look at what a good like stepdad I am vibes. Look, the kids can hang off with me, and I'll flirt with you, and I can do both.
I was so happy about that. I'm like, yes, get together. Get together.
People in the community want to take their picture with Sam, which so sweet. And he's happy to do it because he's Captain America, and that's part of it.
And that's what Captain America does.
Yeah. And then we see the end is Bucky and Sam are like hugging and affectionate with each other and like patting each other on the back as they walk like back into the party. And then we get the new title card in credit, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. And we talked a little bit about how you thought that Bucky's name should have changed. He's earned it.
Well, I agreed with what you said though. Because like the next day after watching the episode, I texted Tab just being like, everybody got a new name. Like everybody did. John Walker became U.S. agent. Sharon became the like Agent 13, became the power broker. Everybody got a new name except Bucky. But I did like what you had to say, where it's like Bucky needs to choose it, because so much of Bucky's story has been about things being chosen for him.
Yeah.
And him not having a choice. So for him to not be the Winter Soldier, for him to take on like the White Wolf or whatever he wants to be moving forward. Maybe he does want to be the Winter Soldier still. Maybe he wants to rebrand it and make the Winter Soldier a hero.
Like Nat did.
Like Nat did. Yeah, exactly. That would be wonderful as well. I really liked that idea once you said it to me, and I got a little less huffy about him having a new name, because I was like, why didn't Bucky get a new name? Everybody got a new name. Why didn't Bucky get one? That's like kind of how I felt. But then I calmed down. I'm very much like a Bucky protector.
Yes. Like, someone needs to be.
Don't hurt my precious boy. He's been through enough.
Someone needs to protect his feelings.
Yes.
Yeah. He can handle the fighting. It's just
he can fight. I can't fight. Bucky can do all the fighting, but someone needs to protect his soul. So leave my Bucky alone.
This is good. We got a post-credit scene, only one, which is Sharon receiving her full pardon and apology from the United States and an offer to rejoin her old division. She accepts, looks real pleased, but then she calls whoever she keeps talking to on the phone and is like, let's sell government secrets and weapons.
And I'm like, okay, so you're the power broker, you're at the top of this, but you have to call someone? Are you kidding me?
That's again where it's like, well, the power brokers are kind of a company, so probably will. I'm guessing it's going to be
those heels.
Yeah.
When she's walking down from the Capitol, either like they put her in shoes that she couldn't really walk in. I swear she trips.
I have to look for it. I'll look for it when
I don't think that the tripping exists. No. I think if you check the tape doesn't back up my claims.
Susan would have liked for Sharon to trip on the steps.
Yeah. I
Yes.
definitely texted Tab that she tripped, and you were like, "Did she?" And I was like, "Yes," very confidently. But I'm pretty sure if you check the tape, she did not. It, yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so I kind of think we're setting up to see her in Armor Wars. That's my guess.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Maybe she was talking to Justin Hammer.
Hmm. I'd be
Yeah,
okay
who
with
knows? Who knows she's all.
I'd be okay with Justin Hammer coming back. Well, mostly because I like Sam Rockwell.
Yeah, I love Sam Rockwell.
I don't care if
He
Justin
better come
Hammer
back.
comes back. I want Sam Rockwell to come
Yeah.
back.
No, he better come back. He better come back in Armor Wars and do his armor.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I was actually bummed because again, because I can't stop talking about WandaVision, even though we're talking about a different show. Sam Rockwell would be a great Nightmare pick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
He was great as Justin Hammer. Bring it back.
he was. But also, yeah, but if he was Nightmare, just think of how much he'd annoy Steven.
The scale for Nightmare is directly related to how much they would annoy
Yeah,
Steven.
for
So
sure.
yeah.
It's their correlation is like 1 for 1. Like you can't be Nightmare if you're not going to just annoy the crap out of Steven.
Yes. No, that's fair. So that's the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Or Captain America and the
Or
Winter
Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Confirmed Captain America 4 movie, written by the showrunner and one of the writers for this show, and obviously starring Anthony Mackie. Obviously. And then rumored that there might be a season 2 of the show.
Oh, that would be great.
Based on award submissions. WandaVision, they submitted WandaVision for awards as a miniseries, and they submitted this show as a drama series, which means it could get another season, which would be great. We could get a Captain America and the Winter Soldier where Bucky does decide what his name's going to be and how.
That actually makes a lot of sense to me too, because like WandaVision, I know that a lot of people on the internet, especially in groups that I'm in on like Facebook and Instagram, like really want a season 2 of WandaVision. And I'm like, how?
Yeah, how? What would that be?
What would that be? But like with Captain America and the Winter Soldier, there could definitely be a season 2. Like there's definitely ways to make the show an ongoing continuing series.
Season 2 of WandaVision is her in the woods being a crazy witch and learning spells.
Right. There's like there's nothing to do with it anyway.
Yeah, no. It's
So
the stuff like, you can skip.
I keep my mouth shut because I can't be that person in those groups to be like, and how do you guys propose this happens?
How would that work?
How would that work exactly? Because it wouldn't.
I think they'd have to call it something else. If they did want to go back to Wanda and Vision's story in like the television format, WandaVision was very much about the fake TV show and it being a fake TV show. So I think they'd have to call it something else.
And I hate that I'm the one who's about to say this, but technically Vision's dead. Like White Vision exists with the memories, but not the emotions. So like, who is Vision? It can't be White Vision.
Maybe.
I hate that I said that on this show.
Well, I think in my head, it was White Vision, but not with Wanda. It was more about him like learning who he is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and then he's
also
learning how to be a witch. But yeah, we're just going to see her in Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
And then we're probably going to see him in West Coast Avengers whenever we get that.
Whenever we get that, West Coast Avengers, which also might be where US Agent shows up again, since he is a West Coast Avenger.
Yeah. And then Young Avengers is where we're going to get Eli and Wiccan and Speed.
And what is Cassie called? What's her code? Stinger.
Yeah. I was like, it's something. I was like, in my head, I was like, it's something on a bee.
It's some part of a bee.
Part of a bee. Yeah, Stinger. And then also West Coast Avengers would be Kate whenever we
yeah. Kate could actually be either or.
She could be both, depending on where they go with her.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Shang-Chi.
And then is he a West Coast? Yeah, he is a West Coast Avenger.
Yeah, he's West Coast for sure.
Yeah.
Not young West Coast.
I assume, well, I'm kind of assuming he's also going to be a regular Avenger.
Yeah. Oh, I kind of
Yeah,
assumed that too.
yeah.
But yeah.
The Avengers.
But the fact that it takes place in San Francisco makes me think that, like, oh, maybe he's going to set up the West Coast Avengers.
That's fair. He
Mhm.
could be very involved with them existing.
And could
I
be
mean,
like the liaison
oh,
between West Coast and regular Avengers.
yeah, because there is a lot of overlap in those teams.
Oh
Like
yeah, for sure.
Wolverine's an X-Men and an Avenger.
I mean, Scarlet Witch too. She did a stint as West Coast
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and White Vision.
and White Vision.
So probably, yeah. I mean, they seem to be headed that way.
Guys watching, this could be exactly what the next few weeks are on MCU Explained. Us grabbing all these characters from all over the place and explaining how they could fit on these different teams that already exist. Because the other team that we haven't even talked about is the setup of potentially the Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts. Some people also think maybe Dark Avengers.
Oh,
There's a
dark.
lot. There's a lot on the table right now.
Yeah, so maybe, so again, tell us in the comments if this is something you want us to do a whole episode on, because we could clearly do a whole episode on these little things that they're planting, the seeds of potentially beyond phase 4.
Speaking of, let's go to some questions. We don't have a whole lot. We got a lot of like, yay, Sam Wilson, yay, Captain America. Uh, and also like not a lot of open-ended things at the end of this show. Like this is pretty well wrapped up. But Battle Panda 32, we know her. Hi. Are you worried? Oh wait. Are y'all also worried the Loki show is going to bring back Winter Soldier Bucky and hurt his progress? And she's pointing to Loki, but that could also happen in multiverse.
It could happen in multiverse. How awesome would it be though for Bucky to face that Bucky?
Yeah, like Nebula.
Like Nebula. Another great example of mental health in the MCU.
Oh, Nebula, as you know, is my favorite.
Yes. I tempt Tab into new collectibles by sending her the Nebula version.
There's not that many. So
Yeah.
anytime you find one, I'm so delighted. Yeah, so and like the Nebula versus Nebula fight, it could be very much him being like, no, look, we're okay now. You see that I'm okay and that this is your future. So
yeah,
that yeah. But then you sometimes you have to just shoot your other self, and because she's not listening. Let's see.
And that would actually be a great kind of contrast between the two, you know, because like Nebula did have to defeat her former self, like actually defeat her former self.
Yeah.
Whereas Bucky might be able to not have to do that.
To help him. Yeah.
That'd be a really interesting, like, you know, how the MCU likes to show like the same situation but different outcomes.
Yes. The what if.
Yeah, the what if.
Yeah, I doubt this would happen in Loki, but I could see it happening in one of the other multiverse movies. I think Loki mostly has to deal with other versions of himself. That's my guess.
Loki's just going to be an army of Tom Hiddleston doing Tom Hiddleston Loki things.
Yeah. Go clean up all these messes that all the other Lokis made.
Yeah. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. That's my guess.
Sure that's what it's going to be too.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Loki's going to make no growth.
No growth.
No growth.
Anytime Loki makes any growth, he gets killed. So it's actually preferable that he makes no growth.
Yeah. Yeah. That is true. Go watch any of the Thor movies. Anything with Loki in it. Anytime Loki makes progress, he gets killed.
And it's actually every other. So like he gets killed or he steals the Tesseract. One of those every time. And you didn't think it was going to happen in Endgame, but then that motherfucker stole the Tesseract.
Stole the Tesseract.
But since he's going to be dealing with presumably a lot of him, And I kind of think maybe one of the hymns is going through the timelines and killing the other Lokis. That's my hot take on the show. My hot take, because they said it was a mystery thriller. It looks like there's a straight up murderer based on the trailers.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he has to go after
Himself.
whoever that is and then finds out it's a him.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
I'm
Very
hoping he has
open.
like Knives Out vibes.
Yeah. Yeah. Very fun. Loki the detective.
Loki the detective, possibly in very stylish sweaters.
Ooh.
We know that he wears the stylish suit.
That's
Can he
true.
rock a sweater?
Not enough sweaters in the MCU.
Not enough sweaters in the MCU.
That's what you realize when you see Chris Evans in Knives Out.
Yeah, and how good he looks in a sweater, and how I'm like, why don't men wear stuff like that more often? I would like men to wear stuff like that more often. I could have done with Bucky in a Knives Out sweater.
Oh yeah, maybe more as he gets to know himself more and more.
Maybe he can rock a sweater.
Rock that sweater, cable knit sweater.
Cable knit, the cardigan with the shawl collar.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm all about that. Men, take note. Wear sweaters more often.
We were watching, my husband and I were watching Rutherford Falls, and in like, I want to say like the third or fourth episode, Ed Helms has on this shawl collar, gorgeous red sweater, and I was like, damn, that's a good looking sweater. Look at that sweater.
I completely agree with this, and I think that the men. So we're doing some like, hey guys, listen to this. It's okay to hug your friends.
Yeah.
Like, be more affectionate physically, with each other. It doesn't mean anything. Also, wear sweaters.
Wear sweaters.
Yeah.
Go Google Chris Evans Knives Out sweater.
Just go get a few of those sweaters.
And Google also Daniel Craig sweaters. Daniel
Craig can rock a sweater. Anytime Daniel Craig, and you know who else does it? Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
Especially when Michael Fassbender goes on like talk shows, he'll rock a sweater.
Yeah, they understand how to do these sweater looks, which are just either a cable knit sweater or a shawl collar sweater over something. But they get it. It's good.
Do it. Yeah. Again, this is MCU Explained. We're taking questions. Maybe we'll do a sweaters of the guys who could wear sweaters in the MCU episode. We probably won't. But we could. There's lots of guys in the MCU who could wear a sweater. Bruce Banner.
Oh yeah. Banner.
Actually, the Hulk wear like.
Yeah, the Hulk does have one of those shawl collar sweaters. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh.
See? Also, the company How Susan and I Met that made both of the shirts we're both wearing makes
L Huffer Design. Make shawl collar cardigans. I think the only one available right now is the R2D2 inspired one.
But isn't that cool?
But it's very cool.
My favorite one that is no longer available, so sorry, is the Doctor Strange one, which I have.
Also, shockingly, my favorite one that is no longer available. And there's a picture, I think there's a picture of you in it on your Instagram and me in it on my Instagram.
Almost certainly.
Yeah. I know that the picture that I have of you as my contact photo is you, that you like you're wearing that sweater in the picture.
That makes sense. Is it the, and I'm doing the yep. Well, that makes sense that you would be like, when is Tab Doctor Strange? And that'll be her contact picture.
That should be how all of my contact pictures are done. Whenever you're Doctor Strange in anything, that should be your contact picture.
Yep, that makes sense. So
I could actually do that with quite a few people in my contacts.
I think that you should.
I think I'm going to now. Some people will kill me, but that's okay.
Well, gotta then take another picture as Doctor Strange that you like more.
One that's more recent and maybe not of you in college. I don't know.
Yeah. Send it to me. I'll make it your contact photo, but it has to be Doctor Strange.
It has to be Doctor Strange.
We have a couple here. There's kind of a mixed reaction to Sharon. We have a couple that are like more Sharon, and
No.
then some that are like, I don't like how Sharon's story was done. It could have been fleshed out better. That one's KRBZ Mom.
Okay.
Wanted Sharon's story fleshed out better. I think that we got the classic MCU. Here's the start of something.
Agreed. I think that she wasn't meant to have a full story arc, even as disappointing as that was, because
Yeah.
she's an established character. You want her to have a full story arc, because we
Yeah.
have, she was introduced in Winter Soldier, same as Sam.
Hmm.
So you want her to have more, but I just think that she's gonna be back.
Gonna be back somewhere. Armor Wars.
I don't want to see her again.
Look, she'll be a great villain.
She'll
It
be a
seems
great
like.
villain. And you know what? I can get behind hating this new version of Sharon because I didn't really like the other one when she was good. So
Sharon, because she's not good enough for Cap either, for
she's
Steve
not good
Rogers
enough for
Cap.
Cap. She's
Yeah.
not good enough for Bucky. It would be weird if
Who
she
is
tried to
she good
do
enough
both
for?
Cap. You're not supposed to do the best friend switch. Seinfeld taught us that.
I also, in this episode, when she first sees Sam in the suit, she's like, "It looks good on you." I'm like, man, do you just have a thing?
Yeah, just stop it. You're just thirsty, girl, and that's fine. I'm
Well, I
all
mean, like,
for
she's thirsty for Avengers and Captain America.
yeah, fine, fair. Be that way. That's cool. Just like find someone like, you know what? If she was thirsty, I know he's married, but if she was thirsty for John Walker, I'd be like, have at it, girl. Get yours. But like,
Yeah, because you don't even really like him that much.
yeah, more
She can have
redeemable.
someone that you don't like.
But okay, who do I like that I would be okay with Sharon hooking up with or something? Who do I like? I don't know. I was like, I was actually thinking, you know who I'd be okay with her and Killmonger, but he's dead. Um, oh yeah, right. I can't really wink.
Hey, you know whose body we never saw?
Besides Killmonger,
No, Killmonger. We never
yeah,
we didn't.
we never saw that body, and also, he was also offered to be saved, even though he declined, but declined.
He's multiverse stuff. Who knows what comes out of that? Who comes back? All we got. Again, this is, I think, for finales, unless they're setting up something huge in a
Oh,
finale, we're not gonna have a lot of.
and then also for like this felt just way more like a TV show where it's like it felt like there's an ongoing story happening here
Yeah.
versus like WandaVision, the finale, and I hate comparing the two because they shouldn't be comparable. They're so different in structure, in like genre, in everything. They
It's in the
shouldn't be
same
comparable.
world.
But they're even just because they're both MCU, people including myself are comparing them.
They're the
But
first two TV shows that the MCU has done.
right. And so like the everything that happened in WandaVision like was set up for a huge finale. This was not set up for a huge finale. This was set up to feel more like an ongoing series. So to me it makes complete sense that this could come back for another season versus WandaVision has nowhere to go.
And now they're in New Orleans and they have to fight Brother Voodoo, because let's bring that character back.
Dude, don't even, I would actually really like that because that would be so random and weird. And I would love to see them make Brother Voodoo work in.
That's the thing. Can he work?
Yeah, he can. Do you know why? Because everything somehow works in the MCU. I don't know how they just make it work. I don't know how they do it, but they constantly make it work. So
I love
bring on Brother Voodoo.
I love Brother Voodoo because he's always down to fight vampires with Blade, and he's always down to help Doctor Strange.
Blade is gonna be in the like, yeah, bring Brother Voodoo in. By the way, Brother Voodoo is a character and not a shot that you take that is alcoholic. Fun fact. It could be that. Doesn't it sound like a drink?
Yeah.
So when someone tells you they're doing Brother Voodoo shots, that doesn't mean that they're taking Brother Voodoo shots. It means they're taking pictures of Brother Voodoo. Just
I see. Perfect.
mm-hmm.
His name has changed a few times too, because so I guess they could like they don't have to use what I think is his most ridiculous name, which is Brother Voodoo.
They should use it.
They could. They should, by all means. But I
Lean
think
into it.
isn't he's a sorcerer
Mhm.
supreme. So I think he changed his name for that. But I think it's like
I don't
Dr. Voodoo.
still bring him on. I want to see him. Make him work.
Make him work.
Challenge Kevin Feige. Make it work.
Kevin Feige, we know you're watching this. Make him work and also keep his cool belt of skulls.
Yes, somehow.
Somehow. Because we lost that with Mystique.
We did lose that with Mystique.
And I like the belts that are made of skulls.
Give Tab her belts made of skulls. Someone should have a belt made of skulls. Because that's practical.
Hey, this is what's going to be great.
Be like 2 hours long because of weird tangents that are not actually off topic.
Yep, slightly.
Let's just like keep saying that. They're just slightly askew.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, that is all we have, you guys. I'm Susan.
I'm Tab.
And we are MCU Explained. Thank you for watching this episode on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale. Next up is Loki, but like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, we want to do 6 weeks of kind of random episodes-ish. So what do you guys want explained to you? Stuff in the MCU. We mentioned possibly doing the West Coast Avengers, possibly doing the Young Avengers, possibly doing retrospectives on Loki and or Black Widow. Actually, it'd be because we would do them separately because they don't cross over that much, especially in comics. Anyway, like us, subscribe to us, follow us on social media. And again, thank you guys so much for being here, and we will see you in the next video.